Hi everyone, today we'll be showing you our maze game project, The Lantern Keepers. Let me start by introducing ourselves. We're called Yellow of the Egg, leaning on the German saying, Das Gelbe vom Ei. The team consists of Konstantin, Hussein and me, Ramona. The game idea is to have Prince Damien, our hero, save the world by completing his mission to relight the world lanterns before it's too late. His father, Great King of Arcadia, first discovered the Great Flame and brought light into darkness. Now, evil spirits took over and sent the world back into complete darkness. The player has to help Prince Damien to repeat history and save the world. But now, let's have a look at the game. After selecting a level and starting a game, the player will see the game screen. Our HUD is located on the bottom of the screen, showing the most important and current information to the player. At first, you can see the remaining lives the hero has before he dies. Next to it, the life bar is located. It shows how much stamina the hero has left, changing to red when decreasing. In the middle, there will be displayed a blue shield if the hero has collected the shield item in the maze. It protects him once from a ghost attack. After using the shield in the game, it disappears from the HUD as well. The arrow always indicates where the exit is located. In our case, it's the top right corner. It should help the player to have a better orientation while playing. Next to the stamina bar, our key item, the fire, is located and displays if the hero collects it in the game. It's required to be able to exit and finish the game successfully. Lastly, on the very right, you can see the elapsed time since the player started the game.
Now let's take a look at how it looks to play the game. This is what happens when we get to the enemy, and you can see the health decreasing in the HUD. And if we step on the trap or the well, we also lose a life and reset position. This is what happens when we pick up the shield that Ramona mentioned. You can see it getting equipped down in the HUD. And of course, we cannot finish the game until we have picked up the key, because you cannot relight a fire without matches. And once we navigate the maze to pick up the key and evade all enemies and head towards the exit, we can see the screen with the score and adequate messages. You can see that screen now. But in the case we do not manage that and instead die in the maze, getting trapped or killed by the enemies, this is the screen that we see in that situation. And what happens when we get hit by an enemy and we have the shield equipped, as you can see, is that our number of lives stay the same. And if we feel proactive, we can also attack the enemies by casting a spell and eventually killing them.
And now for the exciting part, the bonus features. Coming up first are the new boots that replenish your stamina bar after sprinting. Then comes Ghost Shields that render you invincible for one hit. Coming in at number 3, a Spectral Wormhole that teleports you to a random place on the map. A help screen in the pause menu in case you need a hint or two, along with an options menu, adjusting the soundtrack volume and enemy speed to your liking. Taking a peek behind the curtain, you can see our implementations for some of these noteworthy features. Starting off with randomized maps. The method generateMap, as you can see, starts by initializing the whole map with free spaces, laying down the map boundaries, and adjusting the available coordinates accordingly. After that, a predetermined number of inner walls, one great torch, traps, and enemies are added respectively. Next up, game constants. Along the way, we discovered the good programming practice of collecting all of our constant game values in one dedicated public class, hence the name, which really helped us when testing to make sure that Damien feels very natural when moving. The teleport method takes a movable object, this case being the wormhole, and the free space coordinate is found, then set as the wormhole's new position. At the end, the bounce method is called, and the wormhole moves somewhere else around the map. Of course, before that occurs, a bit of validation is implemented. And finally, the combat. The hit by hero method is called when the enter key is pressed, sound is played, and the enemy's life counter is decremented. Once it's decremented to 0, the enemy will despawn.
And now it's time to share our personal impressions and experiences of the game creation. For me, the hardest part was making the stamina bar go from green to red depending on how much stamina you have left. Even though it may seem very easy, it turned out to be quite difficult using Pixmap textures. And of course, even though it may not be directly related to game development, the editing of this very video took up more of my time than I expected or wanted.
Personally, my biggest challenge was the implementation of the highlight feature, especially in the HUD class, its storage and how the point mechanism should work. Also in general, a big challenge is the communication within the team, and I think we managed good by doing regular checkups and motivating each other.
And for me, personally, I would say that the biggest challenge I faced when programming was figuring out the collision physics. I kind of had to think outside of the box for this one. And I only figured it out when I was stranded at the airport for 6 hours. Yeah, it was not the funnest experience. But despite all of these challenges, we were able to deliver a well-polished game with the help of our individual strengths, our tutor's insightful advice, and of course, a lot of ChatGPT.